Christmas!
Merry Christmas. I have a CD already.
Oh, you have a CD already.
Thank you.
You know, I've had people ask me, can I give a donation? I says no, because it's already been paid.
That's awesome.
Okay? Jesus paid it all. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's that handsome man?
Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
2 to 3 miles an hour, okay?
Got it.
Got it.
Tonight, you will experience the greatest story ever told. And what makes it so great is that, well, it's true. This story, as you're about to see it, has reached out and touched many people throughout history. Among these people, we find Saint Nicholas, without whom we would not have some of our wonderful Christmas traditions today. He lived nearly 300 years after the events you're about to see. Saint Nicholas understood the miracle that happened in the manger, the greatest gift ever given, the gift of new life for one and all. Nicholas loved to give. He gave clothing, food, and toys to children. He even baked gingerbread for them. Late one dark night, Nicholas dropped a bag of gold coins through an open window of a very desperate family. Some of the coins fell into a stocking that had been hung out to dry. Nicholas kept his gifts secret, but today we honor his generosity by hanging Christmas stockings for Santa Claus. Saint Nicholas knew the secret of the greatest gift. Presents under the tree. Well, they make us happy, but the real key to Christmas lies with that gift. The gift of a baby.
The moment God had been waiting for was here at last. God was coming to help his people, just as he had promised in the beginning. But how would he come? What would he be like? What would he do? Mountains would have bowed down. Seas would have roared. Trees would have clapped their hands. But the earth held its breath. And when no one was looking, in the darkness, he came. There was a young girl who was engaged to a man named Joseph. One morning, this girl was minding her own business when suddenly a great warrior of light appeared right there in her bedroom. He was Gabriel, and he was an angel. A special messenger from heaven. When she saw the tall, shining man standing there, Mary was frightened.
You don't need to be scared. God is very happy with you. Mary, you're going to have a baby, a little boy. You will call him Jesus. He is God's own son.
The God who made the universe, with just a word, was making himself small and coming down as a baby. Wait, God was sending a baby to rescue the world? Ah, but Mary trusted God more than what her eyes could see. And she believed. Sure enough, it was just as the angel had said. 9 months later, Mary was almost ready to have her baby. Now, Mary and Joseph had to take a trip to Bethlehem, the town King David was from. But when they reached the little town, they found every room was full. Every bed was taken. "Go away," the innkeepers told them. "There isn't any place for you." Where would they stay? Soon Mary's baby would come. They couldn't find anywhere except an old tumble-down stable. That same night, in amongst the other stars, suddenly a bright new star appeared. Of all the stars in the dark vaulted heavens, this one shone clear. God put it there when his baby son was born, to be like a spotlight, showing the people the way to him. You see, God was like a new daddy. He couldn't keep this good news to himself. He'd been waiting all these long years for this moment, and now he wanted to tell everyone. He was going to send a big choir of angels to sing this happy song to the world. He's here! He's come! Go and see him! My little boy! Now, where would you send your splendid choir? To a big concert hall, maybe. Or a palace, perhaps. God sent his to a little hillside outside a little town in the middle of the night. He sent all those angels to sing for a raggedy old bunch of shepherds watching their sheep outside Bethlehem. In those days, remember, people used to laugh at shepherds and say they were smelly and call them other rude names. But God must have thought shepherds were very important indeed, because they're the ones he chose to tell the good news to first. That night, some shepherds were out in the open fields, warming themselves by a campfire.
Gotta document the moment.
Frightened by something. They turned around. Standing in front of them was a huge warrior of light, blazing in the darkness.
Don't be afraid of me. I haven't come to hurt you. I've come to bring you happy news for everyone, everywhere. Today in David's town, in Bethlehem, God's son has been born. You can go and see him. He's sleeping in a manger.
Behind the angel, they saw a strange glowing cloud. Except it wasn't a cloud. It was angels, and they were singing a beautiful song. Glory to God! To God be fame and honor! Then as quickly as they appeared, the angels left. The shepherds left their sheep, raced down the grassy hill, through the gates of Bethlehem, until they reached a tumble-down stable. And there in the stable, amongst the chickens and the donkeys and the cows, in the quiet of the night, God gave the world his wonderful gift. The baby that would change the world was born, his baby son. Mary and Joseph wrapped him up to keep him warm. They made a soft bed of straw and used the animal's feeding trough as his cradle. And they gazed in wonder at God's greatest gift, wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger. Mary and Joseph named him Jesus, Emmanuel, which means God has come to live with us. Because, of course, he had. The shepherds reached this tumble-down stable and they caught their breath. They knelt on the dirt floor. They had heard about this promised child, and now he was here. Heaven's son, the maker of the stars, a baby sleeping in his mother's arms. This baby would be like that bright star shining in the sky that night. A light for the whole world to see, chasing away darkness, helping people to see. And the darker the night got, the brighter the star would shine. Far away in the east, 3 clever men saw the very same star. They knew it was a sign. A baby king had been born. They had been waiting for this star. They knew it would come. At dawn, they packed up their animals and brought their most precious treasures of all, frankincense, gold, and myrrh. They rode their animals across endless deserts, up steep, steep mountains, down into deep, deep valleys, through raging rivers, over grassy plains, night and day and night, for hours that turned into days, that turned into weeks, that turned into months and months, until at last they reached Jerusalem. They went to see King Herod. Surely he'd know where the baby was, but he didn't. In fact, he didn't like the sound of a new king. Oof, it made him cross. He didn't want anyone to be king except him. But Herod's advisors told the 3 wise men what was written in their books, what God had said about the new baby king.
Go to Bethlehem. That's where you'll find him.
Suddenly, the star that they'd seen in the east started moving again, showing them the way. So the three wise men followed the star out of the big city, along the road, into the little town of Bethlehem, until it stopped right over a little house. But wait, it wasn't a palace. And there weren't any guards, or servants, or flags, or red carpets, or trumpets, or anything. Did they get it wrong? Or was this what God meant? Sure enough, in that little house, there sitting on his mother's knee, they found him.
This is thy family.
The three wise men knelt before the little baby. They took off their rich royal turbans and gleaming golden crowns. They bowed their noble heads to the ground and gave him their sparkling treasures. But this child was a new kind of king. Though he was the Prince of Heaven, he had become poor. Though he was the mighty God, he had become a humble slave. This king hadn't come to be the boss. He had come to be the servant.
The wise men sought after the new king for 3 years. Nothing, not storms, not fear, not even a wicked tyrant like Herod, could stop them from reaching the boy and discovering the secret of the greatest gift. Jesus' birth has opened eyes all across history to that secret. The shepherds knew, and like the wise men, traveled in search of this amazing thing. The angels knew and sang his praises for all to hear. The animals knew. Well, they were there. They saw the miraculous birth of Jesus. And St. Nicholas knew. And by giving to others in his own humble way, he mimicked the giving of the greatest gift. They all knew the secret, the greatest gift of all.